Pros and cons of living in Texas. On this channel, we have extolled the virtues of the state of Texas, glamorizing it as one of the most affordable and one of the most successful states in the US. And we are so right in our approach, as facts testify. Since 2017, the state has become one of the fastest growing in the country, with a population growth of some 400,000. Before you start considering relocating to Texas, however, we need to tell you that some things about the city aren't so appealing. Those against the city have reeled out its cons, which are equal to or even somewhat more than the pros. Now, let's show you the most unassailable among the pros and cons of living in Texas. The pros. 1. No state income tax. This should naturally be the first pro of living in Texas. It's the one most people talk about among the pros. Texas is reportedly one of 7 states where there is no personal state income tax. This is one of the most important reasons Texas is succeeding and attracting more people. 2. Food. Texas has a diverse food scene and various kinds of foods. The reason is simple. So many different cultures are coming together there. There should naturally be a diversified food scene. The cultural fusion comes with a special blend of foods as exemplified by Tex-Mex, which has become a staple of restaurants throughout the metros. Now famous, the blending of cultures found in the Rio Grande Valley has made its way throughout Texas. While San Antonio soon became their cradle, Austin also plays host to this food scene of Texas. The state is also home to a campus of the Culinary Institute of America. The contribution of this institute to the state's fantastic food scene can never be overemphasized. 3. Affordability. We have exhaustively dealt with this topic in one of our videos titled, "Is Texas Still Affordable?" The video goes beyond giving convincing facts that Texas is affordable. It proves that Texas remains so, highlighting several indications of this. Please see the video and be convinced why we add this as a pro of living in Texas. 4. Job opportunities. On this point, we would love to remind you of what we've earlier said about this in one of our videos about why Texas is supplanting California. Several large companies offering lucrative jobs have their offices in Texas. A state with a diversified economy will surely have more job opportunities. While the state was affected by the general loss of jobs during March and April 2020, its rate of recovery has been so wonderful as about 1 million are now being jobs added back yearly in the state. This pro of living in Texas is due to its being the largest exporting state, manufacturing powerhouse, global oil superpower, and influx of people among others. 5. People are friendly. Going by what you'd see in restaurants in Texas, you will conclude that the state is family-friendly. Many visitors attest to the fact that the vast majority of Texans are extremely friendly and nice. Even those right-wing conservatives say this, and this hopefully blows up the myth of everybody in Texas is a racist. As of the last check, the state has over 7 million families, with over 4 million having children. If you ask me, I'd say this is a pro of living in Texas if you have a family. 6. Education. Among the factors contributing to the family friendliness of Texas is the ease of obtaining an education. In this state, you can have a considerate mortgage and pretty good schools. While Texas has a high rate of dropout, it's a sign that the state's education system has zero tolerance for slothfulness. That's why it scores well in mathematics, reading, and science for 4th and 8th graders on national tests. Neighborhoods offering the best educational opportunities for kids in Texas include Flower Mound, Fredericksburg, Lago, Plano, Sugarland, and Vista. The cons. 1. Traffic. What appears to be a blessing for the state of Texas is now considered a con. That is, the population. For such a huge population to be mobile, there has to be a high volume of motor traffic. Unfortunately, peculiar to that is slowed traffic and incessant motor vehicle accidents. In 2018, the Texas Department of Transportation conducted a study that found the state has the highest rate of motor vehicle accidents in the whole of the US. The same study found that the state roadways fatality rate was 1.3 deaths in 100 million vehicle miles traveled that year. That same 2018, there were over 12,000 crashes resulting in serious injuries, with over 14,000 victims getting seriously injured. 2. Obesity. In discussing this con, no mocking is intended, but when they say everything is bigger in Texas, did you know that it also refers to the people? Well, people in Texas are bigger. In a 2019 survey, nearly 35% of Texans were considered obese. The rate is among the highest in the US. The country's obesity rate just a year before for kids 10 to 17 was 16%. While obesity is a challenge, Texas currently ranks 5th when it comes to school kids' obesity rate. This could be due to the negative side of the second pro on this list, which is food. It appears people in Texas binge on the variety of foods available to them. 3. Fast pace of life. We've mentioned heavy traffic as one of the cons of living in Texas and as a reason for the high road crash. This is also traceable to the fast pace of life in the state. Texans' driving habits and speed are causing not a few traffic collisions. Texas drivers are just too aggressive. If you're not ready to cope with the fast pace of life, Texas isn't for you. Driving is the only means of going farther than across town there. The top limit for driving on highways is 85 miles per hour. However, you'll be surprised on the highways in Austin how you'll be passed up as if you're doing 60 or 35 miles per hour. 4. Guns. Folks openly carry guns in Texas. This general gun ownership is a con, while some consider it pro because it reduces road rage and makes everyone behave, since you know that the person in front of you has his gun. Even many women own multiple guns. If you're not comfortable around people who have an open carry permit and who can have a gun on their hip, Texas isn't one of your states. We understand this can be a kind of culture shock for those moving in from another state, such as California with minimal gun rights. You may also be surprised at reading signs at the entrance of a business explaining a company's policy regarding carrying a gun. 5. Public transport. If you don't love driving, please think twice before you move to Texas. In most areas of the state, owning a car is a necessity, and you have to drive yourself to most locations. This is because public and regional transport is abysmal in the state. Locals from Austin, for example, say that a car is needed even if you're visiting. Even when there are transport services such as the Dallas Area Rapid Transport, DART, they're still considered car-centric. The Statista website says Texas has over 17 million licensed drivers, adding that about 92% of Texans in Houston own at least one car, though some in the metro areas may not own theirs. 6. Healthcare. Oh, a big con of living in Texas is poor access to healthcare. Woe betide anyone moving to the state and has to live in a rural area. There are no good medical facilities in those areas. You've got to pray to remain healthy as you have to drive so far to get to a doctor. So help you God during about 50 miles drive to the closest healthcare provider, even during emergencies such as labor or trauma. It's going to be a long drive if you have to call for help at your door. 7. Flooding. While most of the year is dry in this state, the few months of rain comes with too much water. It can rain non-stop for hours on the days when it will come. This unfortunately results in a flood. This is a big pro of living in Texas. Also, nearly all big cities in the state are vulnerable to Gulf Coast hurricanes. So all Texans are at risk of floods. In fact, flood statistics paint a grim picture for the residents of the state, as 40% of natural disasters are flood-related. We believe we've been our brother's keepers by showing the two sides of this coin. With all these, would you love to move or advise a loved one to move to Texas? Please let's have your view in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.